Hello and welcome to my presentation. My name is Wong Oliver Chamba, and I will be talking on an AP organization that takes care of refugees in Cameroon. A brief overview about this organization. It was formed in 2017 by Oliver, and its main aim is to take care of refugees and other internally displaced people in Cameroon. The organization The main aim of this organization, as I've said, is to assist internally displaced and in providing them with basic necessities such as food and other clothing. To achieve its aim, it employs a good number of people to take care of some activities in the organization, such as managing the products to be distributed to the refugees, getting some employees to transport the goods to the refugee camps, organizing fundraising activities, and also organizing sessions with the refugees to just help them with their mental health and other problems that the refugees are facing. The organization also focus on mainly on this fundraising activity so that it can get money from donors and then help buy good products that they can actually give out to these refugees. So in designing the database, there were some functionalities that we had to consider for this organization. And these main functionalities are the organization will want to track the number of sessions organized and the various camps where these sessions have been organized in a month. The organization also track the number of donors we have and the type of donations we are receiving. They also track the number of items we are distributing to the refugees in every month. They also track the number of fundraising campaigns that we do organize in a month. And we also monitor the items delivered to us by our supplier and take into consideration the expiry date. Now, they also track the number of refugees at a particular camp at every point in time. So in order to design the database, we came up with this ER diagram that will make it easier for us to just design. So from the ER diagram, we have a person who can either be an employee, a refugee, or a donor. Now, an employee registers a refugee, and as we can see from the multiplicities, a refugee can be registered by only one employee. Now, the employee also organizes sessions where the refugee gets to attend the sessions. We also have the employee makes distributions of items to a camp, and this distribution here was actually a decomposition because we noticed that an employee can distribute any number of items, and items can be distributed by a large number of employees. So we had to decompose this into having a distribution here. And okay, so we also have a supplier with a warehouse, and the supply in the middle comes in as a composition. We notice that the supplier can make more supplies to more than one warehouse, and the warehouse can receive supplies from more than one supplier. So we decompose it into this a supply here, and a supply will definitely have items that they are supplying to the warehouse. So the warehouse now stores these items. Then the donations that we also receive because the donors can make donations from the multiplicity, can make more than one donation. And for you to be a donor, you must make at least one. These donations that we receive will be stored in the warehouse. Now, the employees also organize the outreach programs, and in an outreach program, we'll have a donation event where if, after we discuss about how we are transforming lives and maybe using people's money to actually help the refugees, maybe some people will be moved and they want to donate, then we'll organize a small donation event where these donors can attend now and donate to us. So that is basically that for our EER diagram, and I will now take you to the logical table derivation. So for our logical table derivations, the primary keys are bold, and the foreign keys are italicized, and then the other attributes are just normal. we can see from the person that we have a person ID and there is no foreign key there, and the other attributes are there. As you can see, we have the employee ID and then the person ID italized. And that is basically that for almost all the tables. So the primary key is bold, the foreign key is italized, and the other attributes are normal. Now, let me take you to our database where we actually designed all this stuff. So before I start explaining, let me just run the whole database. So for the person, we see that the person a person has an ID, and the ID is not auto increment because I decided that the person, when you have a person already has an ID, maybe issued by the country that the person belongs to, or anyhow the ID, that person obtains the ID, we'll just basically collect the ID and store in our database. And then we make that the primary key. Now we also use the not null constraint. We also use the null. Let me just, the database just finished running. So I also use the not null constraint for the email, just as to make sure that you must have an email. So we deem that this is a very good criteria for us to use in our database for communication. So we make sure that this one cannot be null, and it must also be unique. So for the supplier, we also have the supply ID as our primary key. And that is the foreign key here for the employee table is the person ID. And the person ID is a foreign key because an employee would definitely be a person. And the employee, when we employ, also give the person his ID, and that's how he gets his own ID. And then we have the refugee ID, and we are using it as auto increment because the refugee already has his person ID, and we feel like we just want to make sure that we also have a unique way of identifying these people, so we can just auto-generate the ID for the person. So on that note, I'll just move on to the indexes. For the first index, the index here, I'm creating the index. This one basically helps fast. If it helps in data retrieval, it makes the process very fast. And if I run this, you see that it basically outputs this. You can actually do it on one column or multiple columns, as I've done here. Now, the first query that we have for our database is this query will rank the employees based on the number of sessions that they have organized. This, like I said, we are keeping track of the number of sessions we are having, and this will actually help us to know those who are organizing the sessions. So I am running this, and as you can see it there, for the query 2, it returns the employees that have not yet organized any sessions with refugees. It has not yet organized any session with the refugees, and we also want to know how to deal with this particular group of people, because we can't be paying people in an organization who are not actually doing work. So we use this subquery to get the number of this particular group of people who are not organizing any sessions. We also want to this one returns the most visited camps, and we want to also shift our attention to other ones that we are maybe neglecting. So we just want to know the ones that we have been visiting more frequently, and we maybe have to switch. So we use this. It gives us the top three camps that we have been visiting. The fourth query will get us the names of the employees who distribute products to refugees throughout the month of May. So this uses a subqueries to just produce us the number of the names of people who distribute more items to people in the month of May. So if I just run this, it gives us the number here. The fifth query returns the names of refugees the names of refugees, and like I said, we want to keep track of the number of refugees that we have. So let me just run this one, and it shows us the number of refugees. So the field one will just return the number of donors that have their names contain E. And if I run this, we also want to visit, and it just helps us keep track of the number of donors that we have, particularly with this one using the like keyword. So thank you so much for listening.